All right, guys. So after we get done with the overall relationship side of that conversation, if you're doing this correctly, it should transition very smoothly into a conversation where you're going into a discovery. So for me, when I'm making that transition, I'll say, okay, perfect. Now let me set the table for you and set the expectation. Here's exactly what who I am. Here's exactly what I've done. I give this introduction first about myself to build credibility. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about you and your business to make sure that I can personalize the process for you to see if there's a solution that we have. So I would say at that point, then you ask them, is it going to be okay if I run through a couple of questions just to get to know more about you, your business, and any potential needs that we might solve for you? Does that sound fair? Great. From then, if you have the personality and attribute from there, you should just start asking questions, but make it feel like a conversation. A strong discovery should never feel like an interrogation. It should feel like a conversation. The best way I structure a discovery to happen, and we'll go more into this in later trainings, is I want to write down all of my selling points. What ultimately I know that my product, when I get to the solution side, will be able to solve for a customer. So for me, if I'm able to get them more traffic or get them more leads, or I'm able to close them more deals or whatever they're looking for, whatever my product does, I want to always know my selling points, then work backwards in that process. So I would find your 3 to 5 best selling points in order. Before I get onto any discovery, I would have 3 to 5 different questions I could ask that could flow with the conversation. And I'm trying to have about a 15 to 30-minute conversation strictly about them. I'm not selling in this process. I'm just asking questions. I am making them feel some pain. I'm making them, when they feel and admit to that pain, I'm going to double click on that. I'm going to repeat it back to them, and I'm going to ask additional questions on why, how, what, where, that is going to help them feel that pain even longer. Before I move on from that topic and I start shifting the questions towards another selling point, I'm going to recap that. I'm going to make sure I highlight it for them, and so they can remember that process. It's very important you take your time here. It's very important that you at times will offer your value of credibility, but if a discovery is being done most effectively, 80% of the talking should be done by the customer, with 20% of it being done by you. And in that 20%, you're not selling, you're not solving, you're not planting seeds for your solution at all. You are just opening up all of the things they do, because here's the trick. And this is the big thing. If you take one note from this, in order for you to solve the problem, you have to get them in the discovery to admit to the problem. You might have those 5 selling points, but if your customer doesn't admit that number 3 actually is a pain point for them, and you don't get them to verbalize that, even if you have an assumption that's a problem, then you didn't earn the right to sell that as a solution. So if you want to sell a feature, a product offering in your service, you must get them to admit out loud that that is something they need help with. In addition, don't make the mistake of only finding things that are broken in their business or their process. You want to also make sure that you find all the things that they love about their process. And don't be afraid to know they might love more than they dislike, but you have to be able to know what they like. And as long as you can maintain what they like and speak to what they like, and they don't feel like they're going to lose the things they like, then you're not at risk of not gaining the customer. But if they say they like something and you don't have a way to overcome that or to compensate with that, then you're likely going to have a less of a chance for you to do it. So make sure that you're driving the conversation. And when I say driving, I mean controlling the conversation that allows you to make sure you're taking the conversation in the place you want to, at the pace you want to. You're asking the questions that are driving towards the answers of what matter to you that you will be able to solve. The better you control the conversation and you dictate where the conversation goes and where it doesn't go, the better success you will find when you get through discovery. Hopefully this helps.